In this smartphone show, I look at HTC's new launches and I answer the question, can a smartphone replace a laptop? So, instead of a news section, I've got a report from HTC's big launch this week in London. 4 separate smartphones of varying size and weight were unveiled, and each was worthy of a detailed look. I'll start with the device that's the most mass market. The Touch Dual takes the original Touch, which I'll have a sideways look at in Show 45, and adds 3G and 3.5G data, a sliding phone keypad with 2 key layout options, including a BlackBerry-esque QWERTY 2 keys per letter option, and some enhancements to the iPhone-esque touch flow system. This sees the full-screen gesture system extended to photo slideshows with easy spot zooming, and with slicker finger gesture support in many other applications. The Touch Dual is signed initially through Orange in the UK, but it should appear SIM-free from the usual internet suspects, and looks set to be one of the better-selling Windows Mobile-based handsets. The Shift, already leaked around the net for weeks, is a staggeringly desirable piece of technology at a staggering price, around £800 or €1,200, with a sprung keyboard reminiscent of the Scion Series 7 and a gorgeous 7-inch colour screen that can be tilted up as needed, or slid flat and then closed to form a tablet. The Shift is either a fascinating innovation or a horrible kludge, depending on where you're coming from and how you look at it, because at its heart it's a full hard disk-based 800-gram miniature PC running Windows Vista. Yes, you heard that right. But with a bolt-on interface trademarked as a snap view that runs the core applications from Windows Mobile 6 using the same data store as the Vista equivalent apps. Phew. You can't install applications to SnapView or tweak it in the usual Windows Mobile way, but using the Shift in this mode, and with Vista hibernating in the background, it's possible to get a couple of days' use from its battery, as opposed to just a couple of hours with Windows Vista doing its thing. On the plus side, being able to run Vista and all your desktop applications at all in a package this small is pretty special, and you can use it as your main PC with external monitor port and USB mouse, etc. Back into more familiar territory now, the S730 is basically the same device as the old S710 that I reviewed in Show 33, but with a processor that's thankfully twice as fast and proper 3G and 3.5G data speeds. A terrific little communicator, in my opinion. Finally, we have something that most of you will never see in the flesh, except when a courier comes to the door, perhaps. The P6500 is a strictly enterprise device with a 3-megapixel camera to facilitate barcode scanning, twin SDIO slots and a fingerprint sensor. There's 3.5G data and a GPS, making this a powerhouse touchscreen device, albeit at serious enterprise pricing, no doubt. I hope to have the Shift and Touch Dual in for review shortly, plus of course the recently released Titan 2, in whichever guise I can get hold of it. Watch this space. It's perhaps the ultimate use for a smartphone. Can a smartphone go all the way and replace a laptop PC for lengths of time on the road? Going away for the week? Can the 2-kilogram laptop plus heavy charger, support bag, mouse and network cables all be left at home to be replaced by a smartphone 30 times lighter and smaller? This was the question I was determined to answer. It was very tempting to use my Nokia N95 communicator for the test, but I specifically wanted to use something that was genuinely mainstream. Having been out and about in both London and Reading recently, I'd seen hundreds of Nokia N95s, largely in the hands of people who didn't really appreciate that what they had in their hands was effectively a full multi-purpose computer. With the N95 now completely free on many monthly contracts, what better way of testing what can and can't be done by a mass-market 2007 smartphone? However, right at the beginning of this is where I introduced my one and only cheat on the original premise. I also used a Bluetooth keyboard, without which any serious text input on a keypad-based smartphone was a non-starter. These can be picked up for around £40 on eBay and are my most essential accessory. Let's look at the activities I use my laptop and desktop PCs for day to day and see how the N95 Plus keyboard coped. Handling email. I've got 3 email accounts that need checking a dozen times a day, with me replying to around 3 messages in each session on average. Many are spam or mailing lists. The S60 messaging suite is best described as adequate, but I've grown quite fond of it. It was easy enough to manually or auto-retrieve message headers from multiple mailboxes. I tend to auto-download the first 3K of each message. This saves time when reading through a mailbox, and reply as needed. S60 messaging isn't designed for long-term storage of emails. It's more an on-the-road solution, but it can cope with a week away, of my use at least, with everything eventually downloaded and deleted from the physical mailboxes using my main PC when I get back. As you can see in the video, with a keyboard in tow, the N95 can be used in landscape mode, which helps a lot. General web browsing. Yes, the keyboard came in handy here too, as typing horrible to enter URLs is just all too common, not to mention entering usernames, passwords, and Web 2.0 form data. S60 Web is of course based on the same web core code as Apple's iPhone Safari browser, and it did just as good a job of rendering pages as they would on a desktop, complete with style sheets and JavaScript. But there were some annoying quirks, e.g. having to use a workaround to copy a page's URL. The limited quarter VGA resolution did mean a lot of scrolling around most sites. And the low RAM in the N95, as with many other S60 devices of 2006 and 2007, meant that really complex web pages failed with a memory error. Urgh. By default, the N95 comes with the viewer version of Quick Office 3, but it's quick and not too expensive to add on the V4.5 full upgrade, which is what I did. In 4.5, you can edit the content of Word, Excel and PowerPoint files with near-perfect round-trip accuracy for returning to your boss, perhaps. Word processing is a doddle thanks to the wireless keyboard, but spreadsheet work is tedious and not for the faint-hearted. Creating PowerPoint slideshows was easy enough, certainly to get my thoughts down and to flesh out ideas, but I've never heard of anyone going from nothing to a full presentation just on a smartphone. It will always need tarting up back on the desktop. Like most viewers to this show, I'm totally addicted to the RSS feeds of my favourite 20 or so sites. Being able to keep up with the latest news stories and editorials from so many places with just a few minutes low bandwidth reading is phenomenal. On the smartphone there are a number of feed readers available cross-platform, but my favourite solution was Blogline's mobile. One bookmark in web on any device and I'm good to stay bang up to date with the world. The complicated way to copy URLs in S60 Web was a frustration for me, but it probably won't matter to most people. With instant messaging being very popular on both mobiles and desktops, it's not surprising that there are plenty of free IM clients for all smartphones. Because my main virtual office uses Skype chat, I installed Fring and had no problems keeping in contact with my associates, again chatting away freely thanks to the wireless keyboard. Posting entries to a generic blog was easy enough, using email in my case with the free blogger, although most blogging systems work well enough with S60 Web for new posts and general admin, with the same RAM caveats that I mentioned just now. Picking up audio and video podcasts proved easy enough on the N95 with Nokia's free podcasting tool, although again, typing in the original RSS feed URLs is much more bearable with a keyboard. Are you getting the hint yet? The latest video codecs and audio format support in the N95 meant that almost everything played properly. Note that the sheer file sizes meant that I had to plan my podcast refreshes for when I was within reach of a free Wi-Fi hotspot, and YouTube and other Flash-based videos were off limits, of course, and the mobile version of YouTube is a joke at the moment. Oh well, you can't have everything. With the N95 I had a pretty powerful still-in video camera, of course. Photo uploading to Flickr and Vox is supported directly, but I use a different host and I had to email my pics in. And video uploading with VGA resolution 30 megabytes a minute files just wasn't practical. I guess I could have taken videos at a lower resolution if I knew I was going to upload them, but then I'd have gotten annoyed if I wanted to show them later on a TV screen or use them in a desktop project. Entertainment was of course easy, this being the N95, with stereo speakers, 3.5mm headphone jack, TV and hi-fi out. I was able to mix and match music playback, games and videos with more options than if I'd had a Windows laptop. So, can a smartphone replace a laptop or desktop PC? Well, yes and no. Yes, for short periods, say on a weekend away or even a week. But the list of jobs you need a PC or Mac to do properly will start to grow, and your email inbox will get more and more unwieldy. So, without diminishing the achievements of the humble smartphone that I've been highlighting, if you're going away for a fortnight, I think you'd better take the laptop, after all.
Show 45 will come to you more or less live from London's Excel Centre for Symbion's big smartphone show, and I'll have a look at some HTC hardware.